welcome to Trending, brought to you by Airtel. My name is Kim Opera, and of course, Trending brings you all the hot gist,
all the hot topic, and of course, your favorite celebrities as well. My name is Pascal. We're going to short break right now. When we return, your favorite show continues. Girl.
Welcome back. You're still watching Trending, brought to you by Airtel. And you know, we always bring the best of the best on the show. And today we have Hype Coroner, TV host, and the latest addition to the belt, reality TV star, the one and only Jimmie.
Wow. If you were to call your name, how would you call it? Like if you're introducing yourself, like
Jimmie. I know now.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me. It's good to be on this side of the chair. Usually I'm the one doing the interviews. Yeah.
So how has life been? You're one of the people that have been in the industry for quite some time,
quite a while.
and has also maintained their relevance in the industry. Like, how have you been able to do that?
I'm gonna sound like someone that just won an award now. Like, first of all, I want to thank God, my family, my mom. But on the real, if you're driven by passion, then you do things differently. You would be perceived differently. You would your outcome would almost be different from that individual that's just doing it because they need to just put money on the table or put food on the table. Give or take, I would say I started from my time in the industry would have started when I started on the radio with Beat FM in 2009. And 2009 till now, that's 15 years. But it's not all in the same space. If you're driven by passion, whatever you're doing, I mean, I'm a multifaceted celebrity, as they would call it now. TV, live stage, acting, influencing, social media. I mean, all of it started out from getting an opportunity on the radio to present sports.
Oh, so you actually started as a sports...
As a sports presenter at Beat FM.
Oh my God, full circle.
I know, right? So I started out on the radio. That's for most recent time, but if you want me to go as far back as when I actually started, I started when I was 7 years old with Godwin Dudu-Orume, Best of Football back in the day. All that's different. That's like part one of my story. Let's just fast forward to Beat FM. Beat FM was the first company that gave me an opportunity as a sports presenter. I was head of sports for Beat FM and Classic FM. I used to have a 7 a.m. show every morning. At that time, I just started becoming a hype man in the clubs. So imagine having going to the club every night before and then in the morning.
7 a.m.
So there are people leaving the club that are listening to me at 7 a.m. that have just seen me in the club. So like I'm leaving the club maybe like 5 a.m. rushing to the office, got to do my research, clear my head, and then 7 a.m. And my boss at the time, Chris Obosi, was a sports person. So he was always listening to see if I was making mistakes and everything. So I was always trying to be on point. So it was very difficult because I felt like presentation in Nigeria wasn't at international standards at the time. Yes, we had the Larry Zamajes that were very specific in their Brill FM style of, oh, yes, are you ready? Oh, here he comes. Very, very aggressive, so to speak, but, you know, high tempo. So I wanted to like dumb it down a bit, let it be at par with the international standard of just giving the news, hearing the interviews, dispassionate, and just exactly. There wasn't really much analysis at the time, so I was just doing that. Then came Hennessy onto the table, and I say Hennessy because, well, it is what it is. They came on the table and they had a partnership with Beat FM. Beat FM at the time was trying to promote themselves in the clubs, at all these other venues, but they didn't have someone to
spearhead it.
So you go to the club, you have Tools, Bemi, all these pretty girls, but nobody knows they're there. So they were like, yo, we need someone to go on the mic and say, yo, Beat FM is in the house, we got Tools, I was the guy. So I went up and did it, and that's how I started hyping Beat FM in the club. Hennessy was like, yo, we want you to come and hype Hennessy in the club like this. I'm like, okay, cool. I started doing it, and that's exactly how I started getting paid as a hype man.
So you actually started as a sports presenter. So would you say you're a big sports head?
100%. That's 100%. Pretty much. Aside movies, the one thing I do watch a lot of is sports, and it's not just football. Like it's like I watch cricket. I watch American football, I watch basketball, I watch tennis, I watch Formula One, I watch ice hockey, I watch figure skating, I watch curling. The Olympics is like my heaven. It's like I'm in Disneyland because you get to watch archery, you get to watch rowing, you get to watch people in different disciplines. Because I'm driven by passion. A lot of times, new things intrigue me.
Okay, so would you say you were someone at some point in your life that wanted to actually have a profession in sports?
100%. I was part of a lot of basketball clinics, football clinics. So when I was younger, my mom, as most of you might have figured out from the reality show by now, I come from a broken home. So my mom was always, you know, catering for me. So as every single mom would like to do, you'd like to keep your child engaged.
Yes.
So you enroll them in different activities, football, basketball. So I had an upbringing of participating in sports activities. So I always felt like, you know, either basketball or soccer or football as well would be the thing. Basketball because of my height.
Because of your skills.
There you go, bro.
I'm not seeing you.
You sabi play? You sabi? You sabi play?
Yes, now 7.
You see, I'm say sabi pass me.
Pass me.
Yes,
Like,
no,
I've never seen
You don't see me play. So I didn't know say you sabi pass
All that has
me.
a profession is sports.
It's not about profession. It's not
From
about
back
talent.
in the days.
It's not about profession.
Don't let
it's
me
about
take
talent.
my glasses off and
But it's not about
look
profession,
into
it's
my
about
ball.
talent.
See why I don't like men. What is this turning into?
This is what happened on the show.
It's not about profession, it's about talent. It's
What's
the truth.
happening?
It's the truth. But
He
if you
hasn't
don't
even seen me
understand-
play. Say I
Okay,
play
you know
pass you.
what?
Africa.
Don't worry, we'll settle this off cameras for
Okay,
now.
but-
Let's
I love
focus
it, I
on
love it,
Jimbo.
I love it.
But I love this. I love,
love
but
it,
you
I
talk
love
about something. Really. Let's start from here first. You talk about Formula 1, yeah. Verstappen or Hamilton?
Hamilton all day. If you like a Verstappen, you're suffering from recency bias. Yeah, because he's the one that's won almost 17 straight races, if
Yes,
I'm not
I know.
mistaken. He's won so many races, you don't know anyone else winning.
You're correct.
But when there was Lewis Hamilton, there was no one else doing it.
Absolutely.
Some people would say it's Michael Schumacher, but then, you know, his time has passed. So everybody has their time, but I think Lewis Hamilton will still be there.
A continuation of that question, really. You talked about your mother and you coming from a broken home.
Yeah.
This would be personal. But the question here becomes statistics.
Yeah.
People have talked about it, that most broken homes and, of course, most single parents, especially mothers,
Right.
all right, raise kids that are not responsible. But here you are, looking not responsible, doing your stuff, pursuing your career.
Yeah,
Your mother
looks might be deceiving.
Your mother being one of the frontiers of,
Yep.
of your push. What will you say to that statistics and to
I think that's a wrong generalization, and it's a statement that is derogatory to how much work women put in, especially single mothers. If you know what it takes to actually bring up a child, I'm a father as well now, and one of the things I've promised myself is my son would never experience what I had to experience in terms of watching my mother toil just to bring me up, just to put food on the table, just to send me to school. My mom had to relocate out of the country because she couldn't afford to be here not doing anything. So she relocated outside the country to be able to be sending money back
home.
for us back home. I didn't see my mom for 16 years. Not because she didn't want to see me, but it was more because
had to work.
the circumstances of being a single mother. I've reconciled with my dad now, but for years, myself and my dad, we never spoke, you know, because I felt like he left us hanging. He has a new, he remarried, my mom never did. So myself and my two older siblings, we've all had to watch my mom, you know, actually toil. So when you say, you know, single mothers raise bad children or defective children, or they have some condition that being isolated with the mom results in, I think you are who you are from birth. If you're going to be good, you're going to be good. If you're going to be bad, you're going to be bad. But you can be shaped and directed in a particular direction. Some people will take your directions and run with it. Some people will be like, I've heard you, and still be bad.
I still do.
So you
whatever
can't
wanna do.
judge one person's behavior and relate it to their parents.
Yes.
The parent probably did the best they could within their condition and circumstances. And I think we need to give mothers more respect for being able to at least even raise a child.
100%, 100%, 100%. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah. I just wanted to.
I appreciate the question though. I appreciate the question though.
Enough
I don't get to express that much every
I
time.
love
And
that.
my mom is going to watch it. Hi mom, I know you're watching.
Yeah, so let's move on to, when you started Hype, right? At that point when you started doing that, was there even like hype back then?
So there was, but it wasn't prominent. It wasn't seen as a necessity. It wasn't given the respect it deserved. If most people that know who I am would remember that, aside from the radio, but my hyping, people started noticing me hyping and hosting from Industry Nights. Now, Industry Nights was a platform that was available every Wednesday, where one big artist would come and perform, and then upcoming artists will also perform as well. Yeah. That kind of gave people a platform to be seen, where there weren't as many shows as they are now. So it was kind of like a weekly talent show. Shout out to Matthew here for doing that. But in saying that, I was able to, the person that was the host of Industry Nights, Larry D, he was the first person that I saw actually hyping in terms of trying to get the energies of a crowd up with using his words, but he was more of a reggae patois kind of hype man. It was more of a oh, watch yourself, I'ma say what you do over there, all this kind of you don't understand what he's saying, but you can catch the vibe, like, oh, this man a bad man, ooh, all this kind of more Jamaican type of thing. So I saw him doing it, I was like, ooh, okay. But I never really saw it as, I want to be that. No, I just saw him doing what he was doing. I was like, all right, cool, that's what you do. I always felt like being a host would have been the way to go. But when I've seen people like Special Ed on stage with Mo Hits back in the day, when I've seen people like Ben Foster, hyping in clubs, Rehab back in the day, when I seen people like that get on the microphone, they were doing it. I don't think they realized what they were doing in terms of how much of an impact they would be having in the near future. I would say myself and Dotun, we probably started hyping around the same time. If I didn't, I'm not too sure who started first, but around the same time. My hyping kicked in 2010 because I was the manager of a certain DJ Case at the time, and he was signed to Hennessy, but I was so because I was his manager, I was always having to go to I mean, the contract he had at the time guaranteed him 50-something shows across Nigeria, which was like huge. So it was a big deal at the time. He needed his manager with him, and he just came to Nigeria. I was working at Beat FM. We were both at Beat FM at the time. So once we started going out to shows, people didn't know who he was because he was more of a UK DJ. People were used to the Jimmy Jazz of this world at the time. So the Hennessy guys now said, Jimmy, is there any way we can let people know that this is DJ Case all the way from UK and everything? I'm like, do they have a microphone? And literally,
just give me the mic.
Give me the mic. I'm like, yo, DJ Case is here, before he starts, and he starts. So he now said to me, Jimmy, when I play the song at a certain point, the music drops. That's your opportunity to say stuff, right? So we kind of worked it out in between us, and he was like, okay, at certain times when it drops, say something. Then once you're talking, I'll switch the music. So we started building that synergy from that. And I kind of started developing that, our relationship kind of, broke apart. He had to do his own thing, I had to do my own thing. But I continued with Hennessy from that, and Hennessy actually signed me on as a hype man therefore. So I would say, in terms of hyping, I would say I'm one of the first people to monetize hyping. When I say monetize, in terms of actually getting paid.
Actually getting paid to do it.
Do you know what I mean? Now a lot of hype men, every club has a hype man on the payroll. Every artist probably has a hype man. So I'm very proud of what the hype industry has become, because finally I can say that I was part of bringing in something new that wasn't recognized before. Everybody lays claim to Afrobeats. Afrobeats is this, but none of us is the originator of Afrobeats. But I can say I'm one of the originals of hype from this side of town. I mean, there could be originators of hype in America, originators of hype different places.
We're talking about Nigeria.
But in this country, in this locality where we are.
Especially when we're talking about monetizing.
Yeah, exactly. So big shout out to people like Dotun, because even Dotun taking up, there was a time I had to step away from it and go on tour with the band. I left the Nigerian
Because you used to be his
scene
official hype?
Yeah, I became his official hype man, and I kind of left the scene. But in that time, people like Dotun, Shodi, stepped up to the plate and actually laid claims to, like, okay, we're gonna keep this hype nation going. And when I came back to the game, Dotun had raised the level so high that his asking price, I was like, what? Is this what people are paying now? Like, hell yeah!
I'm back
Do you know what I mean? So shout out to Dotun for pushing
raising
the bar for how much we're earning. And then I just followed it up. I think I raised it a bit higher as well.
Yeah.
It's still going up, don't worry.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're proud of what we're doing. Shout out to Hype Nation.
We're going to go on a short break right now. When we return, Jimmie, I, and Pascal will still be here to play some more games.
Absolutely.
Welcome back. You're still watching Trending, brought to you by Airtel. And we still have the multifaceted, the entertainer, the sportsman himself, the king, the Jimmie!
Jimmie in the music.
Yes.
However
The names are plenty. The names are plenty.
I'm trying out. I'm auditioning for my Hype Nation. I tried.
Oh no, I'm seeing it. I'm
seeing it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the queen is here. Kim Opera.
FShay, I love it.
Now I see what the bench saw. Right, so we're quickly gonna go into the video or picture of the day.
All right. Talili. Yo.
Wow, when was this?
This was that's a great suit, I mean.
Yes, a great suit.
It's a trip back from Abuja. It's from a trip from
Abuja.
Abuja. Oh wee!
Oh.
Look at that! Yeah, sweet boy. Yeah. I mean, on sets of the Budweiser Kings of Football show, if you notice, the background is a glass of beer, and yeah, that was a period in time I was trying to be like Drake. So I had the little thing on my hair.
My name is Kim Opera. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. On Instagram, it's at official HIPTV. On X and YouTube, it's at HIPTV.
My name is Pascal as well. Make sure you follow us on all our social channels. Channel 324 on DSTV. And of course, channel 22 on GoTV. Also remember, Trending as 9 a.m. in the morning. And the repeat version comes up at the 8 p.m. hour.
Of course, I'm Jimmie, and you can catch us on all social media platforms. You know what to do. Keep us talking, keep it going. Trending, we're going upwards. You already know.
Do not forget to
Keep it moving!